So today we are going to see about the data table functions in QTP. So these are the methods we are going to follow in the data table, and below are the properties we are going to fetch in data table. So I am going to take some sample applications, say Google. So in QTP 11.53, so we are going to use the QTP code, and I am just opening the object repository by using the shortcut function Control R, or you can go directly by resources object repository. So I am going to capture the Google search field. I am just adding it. I am just to rename as search. After that, I am adding the Google search button. So it is a web button. Normally we used to add the prefix just like in order to differentiate. So this is a button and I am adding the prefixes btn, and this is the text box. I am adding the prefixes txt. So that's it. I am just drag and drop, clicking that and drag and drop in order to just show the data table function, how the parameterization is working. So I am going to implement one by one method, and just I am going to show the debug mode. First, add sheet. So add sheet will add the sheet at the runtime data table. I will show in the debug mode. And the delete sheet going to delete the sheet which we added in the runtime data table. Export, it will export the sheet what we are using in the runtime data table. It will export the complete Excel file, or the file name we are giving, it will come export everything. For the export sheet, what sheet need to be export in the workbook. This export method will export the whole workbook. Export sheet method will export the what sheet we have mentioned in the workbook. Get current row. Which row is pointing in the data table, runtime data table, it will retrieve the data from the current row. Get row count. It will return the overall row count in the sheet. Get sheet. Which sheet we are pointing down? Say for example in the workbook there are 3 sheets. I need to fetch from the first sheet. I will give the get sheet of the current sheet name. Okay. So get sheet count. It will return the overall sheet count. If there are 3 sheets, it will return 3 count. Import. Import will use to import the whole workbook. Import sheet. It will import the book. What sheet we have mentioned, it will import that sheet alone, not the whole workbook. Set current row. I can able to set the current row in the runtime data table as I mentioned. Set next row. So it will set the next row of the current row at the runtime. So set previous row. It will set the previous row from the current row. Global sheet. So by default we have the 2 sheets in the actions in QTP, global and local sheet. It is pointing to the global sheet. It leads to the local sheet. The raw value retrieves the raw value of the cell in the specified parameter. Yes. So it will return the actual value what is we have in this. Say for example I am using to find the formula is in the current row of the date column. It will return the exact value. So data table dot value returns the what column ID and the sheet ID we are giving. It will return the value. So I am going to show it in the debug mode for each and every method in this. First thing, I'm going to add the data table dot add sheet. Next, I'm adding data table dot import sheet. So we need to create a notebook. Search. This is the column name. It will take the first was the column name. So I am just going to search as Yahoo, Facebook, Gmail. So this is my workbook. I am going to save it in the desktop. So I am going to, this is my workbook, and I am going to properties and take the path to import the worksheet. So you can check the syntax by control space. See, file name, source sheet and destination sheet. So file name is going to be the path book1.xlx. Next one is source sheet. In the workbook, what we given as the source sheet. So I have given the source sheet as sheet 1, or else I can give in the index 1. This is the first sheet in this workbook. So I am going to this code and I am giving the index number. So destination sheet is the sheet which we added at the runtime. This is the runtime data. I will show it in the debug mode how it will be added. So this is the name what we have given as our user defined. So I have given as test, simple. So after that I am going to take the get sheet off. So I need to get the sheet. Which sheet I am going to retrieve. You can give the number or the sheet name. If you want to see it in the example, you can see it in the example itself. So I am going to go to the get sheet number. You can check the example. See, this is the sheet name. What do they have given? Sheet ID. Identify the sheet to be. You can give the sheet name or index. Index start from 1. So I'm going to not giving the name. If you want to give the name, you can give the name. I'm going to give the sheet index and I'm going to use the get row count. So I am declaring a variable called row. You can declare the variable as dim row. Okay. So this is the variable they are going to assign. So it will return the row count in this sheet 1. So here I am going to use data table dot value of the column name what we have given and the comma sheet name. Sheet name is our destination sheet which you added in the runtime table. So test. Sheet name, we can give the sheet name. So here data table dot value property. Say this is the column name what we have mentioned here. So instead of parameter ID, you can give the column name or you can give the index value. Say for first column it's 1, on second column it is going to be 2. So this is what I have going to parameterize. So I am going to add the for loop. I loop, say for my variable I loop 1 to up to the row count what I have given in the data table. Shift N. So going to this one as next. So I'm going to run this. So the data table is already open, it's showing the error. So we need to save this file. Already it gets saved in the desktop. So you can close it. You can again rerun it. In manage file. So this is the step. I am creating the data table search column from the runtime sheet. I need to set which row I am going to set. You can give it as a get sheet. It's a good practice to get the sheet first. Test. Since we are going to the big application, we have the more tested sheets in the same notebook. It is clear to mention the which sheet I am going to set the current row. So I am setting as I. So I am going to debug. I am putting the breakpoint by just clicking in this left pane. I am pressing the F5 icon. You can click this icon. So I am pressing the F5. I am just running it. So I am showing it in the data table. So data table, how you can get this? By going to the view and get the data. You can show this table. So first line, the cursor is in the first line. I am just pressing the F11. So you can see that the test is what sheet I have mentioned, it will get added here. I am again pressing 11. What workbook in the desktop, it will retrieve the data from there and it is pasted here in the sheet, in the destination sheet what I have mentioned. So after that, in the row, so I am adding the watch, Control T, pressing the Control T over row. So it is showing the 3. There are 3 data. So again I am pressing 11. It's getting the get sheet and set the current row in the first row. It will highlight the first row. If I am starting the iteration from 2, it will set the current iteration from the 2, not from 1. So again I am pressing 11. So it set the value Yahoo. So okay, it will press the button search icon. So it will click the search icon. So it's showing the Yahoo India. So again I am pressing the F11. It will wait for 2 seconds and after that it will go to the set current row of I. It will set the second row as the current row. See, second row is highlighted. Again I am pressing the F11. It sets the value Facebook. So after that I am pressing the 11. It will click the, so iteration will go up to the what row I have mentioned here. So it will go to the Gmail and it will go this. Yeah, that's it. So now I'm going to stop this one. So we have seen add sheet, import sheet, get row count method, and set current row of I and data table dot value. So 5 methods we have seen here. So if I need to add more methods, so I am just going the remaining methods we are going to sheet. So how to export the sheet what we have added. So you can export the sheet and you can export the whole workbook, and you can also delete the sheet what you have added. Okay, after that we are going to see these things that we have seen and get sheet count. So we are going to see about the delete sheet.